Stanley, Scuba, Sailing, and Adventures. This is Test It Tuesday, where we unbox, evaluate, and field test products in real-world conditions, then share honest and unbiased results. I appreciate you being here with me. If this is your first time, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Today, we've got a package from SVBONY, and it's their SV202 Binoculars. So as usual for Test It Tuesday, we'll start with an inventory of what's in the box, and then we'll get them out in the field and test them. Again, these are the SVBONY SV202 Binoculars. This is my first pair of new binoculars in a long time, so I'm really looking forward to this. I assume what we have here first is the neck strap. It's got a nice soft feel to it and a little bit of cushion. I'm assuming this is the binoculars case, and I expect to find the binoculars inside. We have some instructions and a nice sturdy flap, Velcro flap on the binoculars case. The case itself has a strap, lens cleaning cloth included, and here are our binoculars. They've got a nice feel. They're not terribly heavy, but they're comfortable in my hands, and they feel they're made of solid construction. We have covers on both ends. That's nice. They just kind of hang down out of the way. The central focus wheel operates very smoothly. And we have a diopter wheel on the right eyepiece. This is to compensate for differences between the right and left eye. Both eyepieces have twist-up Eyecups, 3-position twist-up Eyecups on both sides. The central hinge that the two barrels pivot around operates smoothly, but has enough tension to hold the barrels in place. And again, the central focus wheel operates smoothly, can be operated with one finger, but has enough resistance that it's not going to lose its position. The twist-up Eyecups are for adjustment to eye relief, depending on whether or not you're wearing glasses. And again, we have the diopter on the right side. The diopter adjustment ring is used to compensate for differences between your left and right eyes. It's usually not adjusted again after you've set it based on your needs. So the four most important parts, in my opinion, the twist-up Eyecups, the diopter adjustment, the central focus wheel, and the central hinge all function very smoothly, but with enough resistance that you don't feel it's going to lose the setting that you select. The pouch has a belt loop. The seams are of solid construction. The case feels durable, but light and compact. I will, of course, be using the neck strap. Here we are looking across the Missouri River. Now this is upstream from where it joins the Mississippi, but not terribly far upstream, so the river here is quite wide. These are 8x42 binoculars. The 8x means the image appears roughly 8 times closer than it does to the naked eye. The 42 refers to the 42 millimeter diameter of the objective lenses on the front. 8x42 is a popular general purpose combination because you get meaningful magnification without making the binoculars excessively large or difficult to hold steady. You wouldn't necessarily guess that by this video, but I'm trying to point the camera through the eyepiece, and I was having a little challenge, but I wanted to try to demonstrate the magnification to you. So I'm trying to get those lined up just right. The 42 millimeter objective lenses gather a good amount of light. That helps produce a bright image, especially compared with smaller, more compact binoculars. Looking across a wide landscape like the Missouri River gives you a good opportunity to judge brightness, detail, and contrast. The SV202 uses ED glass. ED stands for extra low dispersion glass. Its purpose is to reduce chromatic aberration, which is the colored fringing, often purple, blue, green, or red, that can appear around high contrast edges. Across the river, things like tree branches against a bright sky, or boats, or the shoreline are good places to look for that. I did not notice any color fringing. Through the binoculars, I was able to find a deer on the bank across the river. It was barely visible to the naked eye, but with the binoculars, I was able to enjoy watching the deer. In addition, a kayak came down the river. They saw us on the bank, they saw me with the binoculars and waved, and through the binoculars I was able to see them quite clearly. Here are the binoculars in my backyard. Looking at one of the bird feeders, I spent quite a bit of time watching the birds back here, so this gives me a good opportunity to look at something with a lot of fine detail, movement, and color. As I move the camera above the binoculars, you can get an idea of how far away that feeder actually is. And then, when I bring the camera back down and try to line it up with one of the eyepieces, you can really see what that 8-power magnification is doing. Now, obviously, trying to hold a camera up to one eyepiece isn't a perfect representation of what I'm actually seeing with my eyes, but it does give you a pretty good idea of the magnification and the amount of detail these binoculars can bring in. So, after spending some time with the SV202, here are my final thoughts. First, the image clarity is very good. Looking at the birds, I can see considerably more detail than I can with my naked eyes. And that gets into resolution, or the binocular's ability to resolve fine detail. Things like the individual feathers of the bird, their feet, their beaks, things like those become much easier to distinguish. I'm also impressed with the contrast. There's good separation between the bird and the feeder and the background. Everything doesn't just blend together into one image. The color fidelity is also very natural. The colors don't appear overly warm or overly cool to my eyes. The colors of the birds, the leaves, and the surrounding vegetation look very much like what I'm seeing without the binoculars, just closer. As I mentioned, these binoculars use ED glass, which stands for extra low dispersion glass. One of the reasons that's important is that it helps control something called chromatic aberration. Chromatic aberration is basically that purple, blue, green, or something reddish color fringing that you can see along high contrast edges with some other optics. Things like a dark branch against a bright sky can really reveal it. I did not see any chromatic aberration while using these binoculars. Another thing I've been looking at is the edge-to-edge sharpness. Obviously, your attention is usually focused on the center of the image, but as I look toward the outside of the field of view, I'm still getting a very usable image with good detail. And speaking of the field of view, that's another thing I like about the 8x42 configuration. I'm getting 8 times magnification, but I can still see enough of the surrounding area that it's easy to find a bird and then follow it as it moves. I'm getting a bright, clear image with good contrast, natural looking colors, and plenty of detail. Overall, I had an excellent experience with the SVBONY SV202 8x42 ED binoculars. It's safe to say these will be going on overland adventures with me, and I can also see myself just using them in the backyard to watch birds.
Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment.